Okay, here we go. We got match number 3. Let's see. Our opening hand is a one-lander. We have a Sign in Blood, and we have Carrion Feeder. We have turn 1 play. I mean, if they kill it, we can chant it back, but I don't really want to be doing that. So I think I will mulligan this 6. Hope for more lands. This is fine. I think I'm going to cycle this immediately. So mulligan, no. Let's go ahead and scry, see if it's another land. It's a Butcher's Ghoul. I don't know what we're playing against, and that's just not a very strong card versus most decks. I think I'm going to put this in the bottom. He only is really good for like blocking or with Carrion Feeder. Otherwise, he's one of the weaker parts of the deck. And at this point, we have. So that I could keep this to have a 4th land to get to Merchant, but I kind of want to turn this into a real card. My opening hand was 4 lands. I'd like to get some extra value out of that. I'm going to be able to, if he's a red, he's probably like red-green or red-white or whatever. He's a red-blue. I usually assume red decks with Evolving Wilds are some sort of creature decks, which removal is good against. But a lot of the times, if they're Evolving Wilds, they're either really clunky and slow. Let's go ahead and cycle this. You know, meaning like they're some kind of control deck, or they're just not a good aggro deck. Because aggro decks that have 3 colors and require all kind of manipulation just to get. I think I'll cycle this at the end of the turn. Because if we are not going to get any value out of our removal spell, which there's a good chance our opponent is just not a creature deck. Yeah, they're like a preordained ponder deck. And maybe this is it Blitz again? I don't know. There's a chance. But I can cycle this guy, and then just turn 3, I can go ahead and pull him back with Gravecrawler. So we can get some beats going on. Yep, let's do it. Cycle. Another Gravecrawler. I'm fine with that. We can also Swamp Cycle this guy. We won't do anything this turn. Maybe that's better for next turn. So we're not being pressured, so putting some pressure on the board. Blue-red is not counterspell. It could be Mana Leak or Prohibit or something else, but it's not counterspell. Although Prohibit doesn't get us here, it would be the other one. Not Prohibit, but Miscalculation, is that it? Bolt my dude. Alright, so it looks like we're going against control deck. So I'm gonna Ghoul Razor into Ghoul Razor. If he doesn't have he might have counterspell mana. Wow, he's blue-red fairies. Okay, that's what's going on here. Well, he has counterspell it, but he probably also has that other the spell stutter. If I nameless, he'll just spell stutter. So I think I'm going to Ghoul Razor back my other Ghoul Razor. If he counters it, oh well, but that's a very, very strong line. Then I might play this land. I mean, I guess I'm not cycling. He just has counterspell. You got me. Alright, so play our land. I think I do want to get up to mana. I don't think there's any. I can't really play around his counterspells other than spell stutter. He's just back to Muldrifter range. Well, that's one of the reasons to be blue. If you're not blue, Muldrifter decks are pretty oppressively good. But we're just trying to have some fun with this deck, and it's doing okay so far. Alright, we can Sign in Blood ourselves. We'll go to 7 cards and then nameless something. We can also Swamp Cycle to guarantee our 5th land, but I'm not really in a hurry for that. I really want to resolve this Sign in Blood. And perhaps that will signal to him that we are hurting on mana, because we didn't play land drop first. Alright, 3 mana. We can unmake. How much better is one than the other? I don't know, but this is a little more efficient on our mana, so. Oh, however, in the future, this card can get hit by Spell Stutter very easily. That's just something to consider. Yeah, maybe we just nameless his fairy that to make his future fairies a lot worse. Muldrifter's already in play. He's not going to have any flickering effects. Not with that kind of deck. I think I like that. Let's go ahead and nameless the fairy. We got a pair of these. These will slowly get some creatures out of the way. He's down to 4 cards, back up to 5. So we're tied in mana, tied in cards in hand. He's got a dude on the board, and that's fine. But our graveyard recursion should help us get there eventually. This card is going to be a pain in the ass if it ever resolves. So he's sculpting his hand over there. He's got to have some counter magic up at this point. But he's going to have to counter things like future Ghoul Razors and Grave or 1 mana Chance, which he can actually spell stutter against those, but we don't have those yet. Sitting at 5 mana, do I cycle this? Possibly. I'm going to get much better cards. Let's see if Unmake resolves. It's possible I should have done this on his turn. I'm letting him use his mana quite efficiently here. If I draw a swamp, I'll use it to... Nope, no swamp. I could have swamp cycled this guy, got another land to cycle this, or the Baron Moor. That's one play I could have made. Yeah, I feel pretty confident I should have done that on his turn. I'm just letting him keep up mana here all day. Oh, how super gross. That's super bad for me. That's a super greedy deck. Playing Ninja in that deck. Alright, let's see if we open up with... He can just bolt these. This costs 4 or 5. We can play this guy with regeneration soon, but not yet. I want to unmake and see what he does. He just lets it go. So he's just going for the Maul Drifter here. Well, we can't play any of these cards, so just let him go. Alright, at this point we have 1 Nameless and 2 Ghoul Razors. Alright, so Spell Stutter is getting no value. He's got a Maul Drifter in hand, but he's choosing to leave up Counterspell. No, he's double Spell Stuttering. Oh, I must have another Ninja in hand, or a Bone Splitter or something. You know, I can see missing the 1-drops, but I'm pretty sure the second one, everyone plays 2-drops, so maybe he just sees that even though he's a Maul Drifter deck, our graveyard strategy is going to eventually come to fruition. Is he evoking to keep up mana? He is evoking. No, he's... Oh yeah, it's evoking. Okay, I was curious. So he really wants to keep up Counterspell mana. Alright, Fairy Miscreant. Let's go ahead and cycle this guy. Drew a land. Alright, at this point we can just play this guy, and if he does have 6, if he has 2 turns to, well, he'll have to use 2 bolts in order to get it. I feel like I'm just throwing it into counter magic, though. I don't know if that's the smartest thing. I mean, yes, we can recur it eventually, but we have all these eventually cards. Kind of would just rather play this 3/3. I think I'm going to save the other one in the yard in case I draw Carrion Feeder. Adding a permanent +1 counter for basically no cost is pretty big. Wow, he had the 4th Spell Stutter. Okay. Yeah, you got me now. I mean, I guess that explains the play and why he chose to evoke a Maul Drifter rather than play it. There's some logic to that. We're taking 4 in the air now, so even this guy's not really enough to save us. 4, make that 6, so we're dead in 2 turns. I've seen better days. So we've drawn about a third of our deck, and we've drawn about a third of our lands. Actually, we're slightly flooded in that case. We also have drawn the cycled Baron, 2 cycled Baron Moors, so we've drawn 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've drawn 10 lands. Okay, never mind. We've drawn 10 of our 21 lands in the top 20 cards. I'm certainly not going to cycle that. I don't want another land. Alright, so I guess we can... This takes 5. We have 2 mana left. So we'll go Carrion Feeder for black. I mean, if he counters it, he's going to counter it. So, alright, and then Viscera Seer Unearth for black 1. Alright, and if he had countered Grey Merchant, that's basically just game. Does he have it? He can counter the 5-drop. Okay, well, I've never seen a game where someone actually drew that many fairies, so that's cool. There's 8 fairies, and he drew 6 of them. We drew 10 out of 21 lands, so I think that was just a very bad luck, and I don't think there's much we could do about that. Alright, so what do we bring in here? Shrivel's good versus the fairies, but terrible against everything else. And then Witches is obviously insane. We're going to bring the Witches in. Very good at killing all the fairies. He has 8 fairies. I don't think that deck plays Delvers. I think it's fairies and Mulldrifters and probably like 2 ninjas. It might even play Seagate Oracles. So I don't think Shrivel's going to be great. I kind of want to play some Duresses because they play counters. That opens us to play our better cards. Let's play 2. Alright, what's really inefficient here? Carrion Feeder, just going to get bolted. I think I'll drop 2 of them. Butcher School is also not great. I think we'll drop 1 more Carrion Feeder and drop a Butcher School. We're definitely more of the control deck against this matchup. Never even got to cast this guy. He didn't really play a great role. I think we'll dump 1. I wouldn't mind dumping maybe the other Carrion Feeder and another Butcher's Ghoul and bring in Tendrils. Tendrils buys us a lot of time. We also have another Duress we can bring in, but I think maybe double Tendrils might be enough. I like having 2 of these, like eventually they can get us there. This guy's also not that strong. 4 mana for a 3/3. I mean, yeah, we can get him back later, but... So, we just kind of want to draw into answers, though. I didn't sign out a Chainer's Edict on accident, did I? I did. I signed out a Chainer's when I meant to take out a Butcher School. These are mostly just cyclers, so I think I'm happy with this. Yeah, 2 out of 3 Duresses. I don't think I want all 3. Alright, so 3 lands. We got the Witches. He'll probably just kill the Witches, but we got a bunch of removal spells, so this is fine with me. So we'll play out something like this. This is a 1 mana spell, but it's a late game spell. Alright, we are going to nameless that on my turn. I could Witches here. In fact, he would have to have... that's probably better. I mean, if he has the Spell Stutter, it's going to hit something. Well, no, let's think about it. I mean, if he has... It can't be a tapped land. It has to be exactly Mountain and then some red removal spell. It can't even be Firebolt. It has to be Lightning Bolt. If we nameless now, then Spell Stutter can't hit this in the next turn, but he'll like counter magic up. If this thing resolves, and it's going to resolve, it's pretty good news for us. He just has to have the removal. I think I'm going to force him to have it. And then if he plays the removal here, he won't have mana to Spell Stutter. So, I mean, he has to have untapped red land and Bolt. Yeah, okay, this is good. Alright, let's bring out our graveyard. We're going to need it here soon. This has been a fun twist of mono black. I wouldn't mind. I might even do an alteration in this deck where I take out like the carrion feeders. They're just not very good. I always side them out. And maybe just bring in like chittering rats or something. I think I'm going to tap main phase. Yeah, I mean, he didn't have the counterspell last game. He used 2 of them, so we felt pretty safe to resolve the Grey Merchant, but he had the fairy number 5 for the Grey Merchant. I've never seen a Grey Merchant get spell stuttered before, so it was funny. But I mean, he had to. That's a very difficult play. And blue red's a hard color combination to play. He had to make the choice to just play out a bunch of spell stutters for no value. And even the Fairy Miscreant didn't get value, so he just played 3 cards that were 1/1 flyers. Okay, I think it lagged up or something. Anyway, so he just played a bunch of 1/1 flyers. Also wanted to do that on my turn. I could have done it on his instep, but if he casts a Fairy Miscreant, I do it in response, and then he gets to. Alright, I'll do this at end of turn. If I cast a Fairy Miscreant, then he has a chance to, I kill the Fairy, and then he can use Firebolt to kill the Witches, and Witches are one of the best cards in this matchup. I'm assuming, but I think it is true. I think I'm going to go ahead and just attack. Could be a little too ambitious here, but I mean, if he plays 2 1/1s, then I'm like pretty bummed I did that. But we're getting into Grey Merchant range, and he dodges Bolt. I mean, if they have a Bolt, they're going to use it before they play any more 1/1s. And I'd rather not just give them free damage if they're running burn spells. Lagging? I think so. I suppose we're representing something here, but we don't really have anything. Another thing is that with Ghoul-Caller's Chant, you can actually get back a normal creature. So we can get Witches back if we need to. Like, if he kills it and then plays some. Does he have any instant speed creatures? I feel like no. Okay, Spell Stutter is obviously instant. I don't think I'm going to attack anymore. I did my 1 damage. I feel victorious. Other than just chaining of Moldritors, we have a long game. That Gurmag Angler is going to be a while before I resolve him, but he will definitely put some pressure on them. There's not really a lot of red removal. He's going to have to 2 for 1 if he doesn't have the counterspell. I want to get some food in the graveyard first. I don't want to get rid of my Chainers or my Nameless. And potentially not even my Witches if he kills them. So this will prevent him from flashing any Spell Stutters to do what he did last game. Another thing is that if he goes to attack, I want to ping before he attacks, because if he has Ninja, that triggers when they're attacked. So I think I will just do it on the same turn that he pings, again, to avoid the whole like Firebolt sorcery speed thing.